Vault and Veluza, it's time for another Pokemon moveset. I'm sorry, I tried to get cute with the intro, but I don't think that worked. Either way, let's talk about this Pokemon. So, normally I say, like, we got something interesting going on, or this Pokemon can be good, or it's just outright busted, but the problem with a lot of new Pokemon concepts is that they get, like, a signature move, or a signature ability, or some kind of, like, crazy stat line, but then they have a crippling flaw in that the Pokemon is deliberately nerfed from being way too out of control through power creep, or also it's just a one-dimensional, very predictable Pokemon, so that also makes it very difficult to use that Pokemon in any serious competitive way. That's what happened with Veluza, that we have Filet Away, loses 50% of max hit points to get +2 to attack, special attack, and speed. So it's a weird kind of shell smash, that instead of losing defenses, we just cut out the middleman and lose a chunk of our health, in a belly drum kind of way, but we also gain speed. But then that means the Pokemon's not allowed to be too powerful, because if it was any faster, then you just outspeed everything for free. If it was any bulkier, then the 50% hit points doesn't matter, and if it hit any harder, well then yeah, you just sweep the entire game. So, the drawbacks mean we don't get to see this Pokemon ever. And that's kind of the weird thing, huh? Because you look at this, you just think that's going to make the most busted Pokemon ever, no matter what the stats are, no matter what the moveset is. Yet we just don't see it play out. Kind of reminds me of Shiinotic, that when Strength Sap was exclusive, it's really just, wow, this is the best move ever made in Pokemon, therefore anything that gets it should just be the most busted. But then turns out, it doesn't quite work that way. Now, some other Pokemon do get to run away with it, but Shiinotic just has way too many problems. It has Spore and Strength Sap, but then a billion weaknesses, 4x weakness, and then you also don't have the right stats on it. What else does Veluza get? Sharpness, a new ability that multiple Pokemon get. Slicing attacks have 50% more power. So not only do you have this, not only are you doubling, but you can also use a certain moveset and then just get a free choice band inside of it, but you also get to select different moves. That's pretty crazy. And Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker, kind of a big one because of Unaware. That's kind of a problem, that if you're setting all this up and then an Unaware Pokemon comes in, you're just a 102 attack Pokemon. That's using low base power moves, or like average base power moves. You're not going to do anything, and you're starting off at half health. So yeah, this is kind of like where the movesets that are one-dimensional also just kind of write themselves. You go Filet Away, you go stab coverage, you put in the extra move, and then boom, done. Citrus Berry, that's kind of standard for Belly Drum. You want to make sure you're able to lose 50% of your health, so this lets you eat a larger hit, like a 60% hit. Citrus Berry boosts you over, you Fillet Away, and then you're able to just kind of do whatever, or survive after filleting away, but 70 speed. You're taking that hit first. 90-73, not the worst, but not great. 90-65, and then Water Psychic, so you're just kind of weak to a lot. Your typing doesn't really cover for anything, so you just get the Bug, Ghost, Grass, Electric, Dark weaknesses. I guess, depending on what the opponent has, like if Veluza comes in as a Revenge Pokemon, and they don't have these super effective hits, you at least get to set up. But again, the problem is, like, you're taking that hit, so you're going to be very low, which means any kind of priority move is going to take you out. Like a Quick Attack, an Aqua Jet at that point, you're just going down. Filet Away would have been interesting if it actually gave, like, +2 to everything, even your defenses, which kind of makes it weird on the 50% hit point cut, but, you know, it means you're dealing with just a flat health pool. I don't know, man. Maybe +1 to your defenses. But we also saw that not work with Phalanx. Again, Phalanx has, like, all these restrictions and low stats because it has an outrageous signature move that I don't even remember what it's called. No Retreat. You just get +1 to everything. Therefore, the Pokemon stats can't be good. And you also get trapped in on yourself because we have to make sure extra that Phalanx is not allowed to be insane. So it seems like you're just kind of missing anything that makes the Pokemon interesting. So now you just have stats and coverage. What does the Sharpness moveset look like? Stats and coverage. So Psycho Cut, 70, but then that's getting 50%. It's like, it just kind of bumps everything up. Instead of running the, you know, middling option of like 80, 85, 90 power, everything goes up to like 105 on this moveset, so that's kind of cool. And then Night Slash is just there for the extra coverage, and it's a slashing move you get. So Sharpness is neat, and it's going to change how things play. So this is just outright power, but then you're going to go up against like an Unaware Pokemon, and you're going to wish you had Mold Breaker, especially because you actually crush unaware Pokemon, except for Dondozo. But, you know, if you're going up into a Skeledirge or a Clodsire that isn't doing any Terastal, you're hitting them super. They don't want that. They really aren't ready for that, and they don't have a way of dealing with you on that Filet Away. So you Filet Away and one-shot all the unaware Pokemon, except Dondozo, and you're actually going to be feeling pretty good. But this also just kind of cuts down everything better, and on the 102 attack, you kind of need it. I was also just trying to come up with something else, but there is no something else to this Pokemon. You go through the moveset, it's not that deep of a move pool, and then at the end of the day, you're a water Pokemon with low base stats that has some access to stuff, but other watery sweeping kind of Pokemon have the same things, or maybe a little bit extra. Kind of comparing it to Barraskewda, Pokemon kind of look the same, but have an interestingly kind of sweepery playstyle as well. Veluza needs setup, Barraskewda doesn't. So Barraskewda just comes in, Life Orb on a higher attack, and then running just like better coverage. You know, you can throw out the close combat on a 120 base power and then do damage. You also don't need to set up. You're just faster than almost everything on that 136 speed. You can also do something really cute and weird. Go like Adamant, get rid of a move. Kind of don't know which one you'd want to get rid of, and then you can set your own Rain Dance. That's going to kick in the Swift Swim. That also means, like, depending on speed tiers. This isn't a Barraskewda guide, so I don't have the individual numbers. I don't remember if I ran them for my guide for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Then you can do something like that. And then, like, you just get to survive and then set up and then set Rain. And now you're getting bonus damage and, like, Water, Terra type, in Rain Liquidation on 123 attack. With or without Life Orb. I don't know what else you run here. Then you're actually just kind of, like, obliterating things on kind of a similar setup that isn't as risky. Because I guess, like, one turn Rain, one turn Filet Away, but this doesn't need the Rain and can run whatever. And then you just get up and go. And then, like, really good on the cleanup here. And as I talked about with my video on Baxcalibur and just Dragon Dance Pokemon in general, Pokemon has evolved. Pokemon has matured. We're not at the point where you just go Shell Smash 6-0. It used to be that easy. Dragon Dance 6-0. It used to be that easy. But now it's not that way. And Veluza's kind of built for that. Like, if this Pokemon existed in Generation 6, it would be viable. It would be really interesting to see. But kind of late for that. Power creep and whatever. And now just like bulky Pokemon don't care. And anything else is just going to pick you off with some kind of priority. Like a Scizor? A Scizor really wants to go into this. It's going to be fine. You don't have any kind of cheeky status to kind of hinder the opposing Pokemon. You do your one thing, cut your health in half, and then you have to attack me? Yeah, Sucker Punch Pokemon gonna have happy times with that. Any Pokemon packing priority. Like, at this point, when you're at half health on a frail Pokemon, resisted hit on Bullet Punch doesn't matter. So, yeah, Veluza's kind of weird. Let's see what we get from the damage. So, we have Adamant Nature on that +2. That's going to be weird into Flutter Mane. So Flutter Mane, if it's +0, which I guess it can be because not all of them are running Booster Energy, and Choice Scarf is kind of an int. So if you actually get the +2, then you're outspeeding it. So yeah, Liquidation at +0 is going to do a lot, depending on like how you're running the Veluza. And then +2 here, boom, you just clean it up. So at least like you find some damage with the 102 attack. This is also here to kind of show that the Jolly doesn't really matter for some matchups. Like, it's 256, but you're going to get outsped no matter what here, so that's the thing taken into consideration. Speed tiers get pretty weird when you're trying to, like, double 70 speed into other Pokemon. And then we also have just, like, damage into Palafin. So, once again, just kind of, like, showing the sharpness one here. We have Jolly Nature. Maybe you do this, maybe you do Adamant. Again, depends on, like, the speed shenanigans. And okay, so without any boosting, not KOing a Palafin, but if we go into the +2, that's what it looks like. So Psycho Cut with sharpness after setting up, we're actually like one-shotting almost everything. And when you get into the coverage, it's kind of weird. So Water Psychic gets resisted by a good amount. There's some things you don't want to see here. Slowbro, Hydreigon, yeah, that's kind of problematic, and also kind of shows like the Night Slash on this moveset. It's here for the sharpness, but into some common matchups, it actually doesn't really give you too much because you're still going to be resisted by the Hydreigon, and that could go really bad really quick. But I guess you can't. Maybe I guess it's okay to run the Night Slash because you can't set up into a Hydreigon because it's just going to hit you with a super effective hit, which will do more than 75%. So it's just straight up going to KO you. The drill run, how does that coverage work? Still, like, you're going to find some resistances, but these are actually Pokemon that don't really matter, except for Wo-Chien. Yeah, that's kind of weird on the coverage, because, like, just the dark getting away with this psychic, like, the psychic water coverage. So what else do we have? Crunch, that's not going to do anything. No bug. I guess you do Terra shenanigans, like Terra Blast into some kind of coverage. Terra Blast here means you're not going to be able to get the sharpness, but it could work for coverage. But is this a Pokemon you want to be giving that Terra to? I don't know. It is kind of crazy, though, because you have the damage. However, if any Pokemon can resist you, like if you are at the +2, but then you do like 80% to a tank, well, that tank will get the pickup because you have low health at the end of this, and you need the sharpness. Without the sharpness, your damage falls off. Without the adamant, your damage falls off. It is crazy how much difference that makes. That's 50% and a 10%. It also gets like really good multiplicative interactions as well. So it's something. And then like, yeah, so now instead of Psycho Cut, this would be the Psychic Fangs, which gives you just that little bit extra. And then same thing on the Liquidation. We can double that damage, just kind of ignoring the water on Palafin. But, like, that still hurts a lot of Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon really don't want to see that. Like, we just maul a Jolteon, and we're going to be faster anyways. So the 65-65 doesn't handle it. 80-60 doesn't handle it. 80-80-ish is where we start finding it. So Pokemon roughly as tanky as you are can survive, so that's some sweepers. But then any more bulk and like, oh man, I have the Mold Breaker set, but now I wish I had Sharpness. And then you bring Sharpness and you go up against an unaware Pokemon. Dundozo just bodies you in all cases, so guess that's just a problem, huh? And yeah, so Veluza, I think it's good. I think it's something, like, it's good. It's not OP, it's not insane, it's not broken, it's just good. Because, like, this Filet Away power does set up, and you become a Belly Drum Pokemon that brings your own outspeeds and, like, Unburden and stuff. The thing that made Slurpuff so bust is that it could be bulky, and then it can also sustain with the Drain Punch. So then it's allowed to take an extra hit. Veluza isn't really allowed to take an extra hit, and it's also kind of frail because it had to be built like this, or else then it becomes, like, the most oppressive Pokemon, just completely runs away. So something to try. But yeah, it is kind of weird how these, like, just offensive setup Pokemon have kind of fallen out of the game, because if you need this, like, say this is in the late game, your opponent's already missing a couple of their ace Pokemon, everything's kind of weak, Veluza comes in and nothing can tank it, but at the same time, there's just a lot of naturally fast Pokemon, or choice setups, or Life Orb breakers that effectively do the same thing, or Pokemon that gets, like, one speed boost setup and then it's good to go. So Veluza, kind of not as easy and free and stuff, but still kind of interesting. I haven't seen it, so maybe this is actually like a secret OP to like really just kind of fish for the setup. I made a pun. And yeah, I guess it's something we're trying. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I kind of want to say more, but I don't think there's much else to say. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.